Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It is 17:15 Zulu on July 16th, 2024. And this is Tuesdays with DX Engineering. This is a show where we have some of our DX Engineering sales and technical team on live to take questions with you. So if you have questions, just put them in the chat and we'll do our best to help you. Today we have Guy, K5TGS from Texas. Hello, Guy.
Hey, Tim, good to see you.
It's great to see you. Guy, how long have you been with DX Engineering?
I was just thinking of this. I think it's coming up on 4 years in the fall. Um, could could be five, but a four for sure. Time has just flown.
Well, it seems like yesterday that you were in the chat room here on these Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday shows. And then, an opening came up at DX Engineering for a remote sales team member, and you were accepted. You applied and accepted. How did that go? What was that like? Do you remember?
Oh, I sure do. That was quite a process. Of course, it's remote, so a lot of interviews done here in Texas, North Texas. But it went fine. Scott really walked me through that entire process, the interviews, and I was just so excited to even think about possibly joining the team. And like you say, it did work out.
It worked out great. And here we are, some 4 years later. Uh, Guy, let's talk about some of the things that happen on the phone with customers. What are some of your fondest memories on the phone?
Oh goodness, there are a number of those. I think the one that really is most satisfying is when I get a call from a new ham. Well, two categories: a new ham, and that's always very exciting, whether it's technician or general class. The other is, and I get a lot of these calls now, they were hams 20 years ago and or even longer, and they're getting back into it. They just can't believe the difference in technology and transceivers today. So to walk them through that process is really enriching and rewarding.
That is exciting, and of course, everybody has their own story, a different story, and your story. How long have you been a ham?
1992, so what, 32 years?
Right. So you've got a long history, and let's talk about some of your work history in teaching electronics.
Yeah, that was really my first love. I came out in North Texas here. I worked at Texas Instruments in the radar division, and then a very small school, electronics school, open had a instructor position. So that was 1978. I applied for that, got that job, taught electronics for 2 years. Then I switched to another school, and I was there for 37 years. So now, in those years, it was a mix of teaching electronics, business courses, things like that. But yeah, very enriching.
And so, how did you get introduced to amateur radio?
That goes way back to the mid to late 60s in Canton, Ohio. Stu Walker had a radio shop in town, and I ended up working with him at the sound booth in our church. And then I went to work for him in his store while I was in high school. And then my father bought me Hallicrafter's WR1000 receiver. In the mid 60s, shortwave listening was just so nice, so rich. So that's what eventually got me into the communication side. Of course, taught communications, and then eventually, family kind of and career kind of gets in the way, but then got over to the amateur radio side. And from there, it's history.
So let's talk about some of your amateur radio experience, and let's focus on your shack. What
Okay.
kinds of radios do you have in your shack, Tim?
You know, I've been pretty much an ICOM person. I just like the way the radios are laid out, the menu structure. But you probably can't see it, but one of my favorite is the Elecraft K3S, which is really, it's not in production anymore, but it was very popular for the folks on expeditions. But then the 7300 came out, and I thought, well, I'll get the 7300. I'll split time with the Elecraft K3. And so I hooked it up. I had two radio station, and I have not gone back to the Elecraft. The 7300, and it's been around a couple of years, is just such a good radio. So
Yeah, and popular. I'm amazed still today, and I think it's been out for 8 years,
yeah,
7 or 8 years. We'll have to have Ray Novak on to kind of relive the history. But Guy, I think I'm amazed every day how many IC 7300s we sell. You know,
well, yeah. And I've just talked with a customer a day or two ago, and he was asking about ICOM, Yaesu, and so on. And I said, well, for the money and quality, if you look at the 7300, I don't see how you can beat it. ICOM does have it marked down a bit. They have a rebate, so you can get into the 7300 for just under $1,000 and really have a nice radio, good technology, good performance.
it's cutting edge technology. It's a
Yeah,
software defined radio with a tremendous receiver, and
yeah.
and I think so. Let's talk about your favorite bands and modes, Guy.
My favorite bands are 20 and 40 meters. I haven't gotten into, I do have antennas for 6 meters and 10 meters, but for some reason I haven't drifted that way. But 20 and 40 are my most popular. I run a net here in North Texas once a week on 40 meters, and that's a good, it's in the morning, so that's a good band. I like that.
You know, it's sort of like going to the lake when you're on 40 and 80 in the mornings. Everything is just calm,
Yeah.
right? It's very surreal, and especially if there's no thunderstorms around, it can really be nice. Let's talk a little bit about your ARES activities, Guy.
So I work with the Dallas Amateur Radio Club and the Fort Worth Races group. So we have a lot of public service events. Now it's slowed down a little bit, certainly during COVID. It's gradually increasing, but I spend time with those two groups primarily. So bike rides, marathons, covered the Dallas Marathon, huge. We have well over 100 plus communicators. We support that. So yeah, it's very active. North Texas is a very big ham radio area.
I'm glad you're pointing that out because that is very true. And Guy, you and I haven't talked about this, but I'm hearing rumors that Hamcom is going to come back.
They will come, they're already back under a different name, under a different banner, different people. It's going to be slow. Hamcom grew so nicely over the years. So right now they're meeting once a year in a shopping mall, kind of an abandoned store there. So it's gradually increasing, but it will take time. But as I say, North Texas has so many hams here. It will eventually get back to where it was.
Yeah, but that was a great event, and I
Yeah.
really miss it. And
You were there several times, at
yes,
least.
right. And we would love to bring DX Engineering there. And talking about clubs, I mean, one of the things I know you hear me talk about this all the time, but is making sure that our team members that are on the phones and so forth are members of their local club, and they're active in their local clubs, and they just don't show up and have a hot dog at field day, that they get in and get dirty and maybe bring some DX Engineering dipole kits. We've got that nice
Yeah.
dipole winder that Scott and John Miller and or KJ3X and N3RA and W3JL came up with, and I know Troy has
Yeah.
been working on some things with that as well. So it's we want to kind of share the DX engineering wealth in a club format, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I always encourage the customers I speak with too, the new customers or new hams, really get involved in a local club. That can be such a big help to get a local Elmer. Now, we Elmer on the phone, but to have one local is a huge pickup for the hobby. So a lot of folks do that. They'll go out and see what's around their area.
And you can always go to the ARRL website. The
Hmm.
ARRL has a lot of resources when it comes to
Yeah.
clubs,
Yep.
and
They
there
sure
are
do.
over 2,000
Wow.
affiliated clubs. And I got to believe in the Dallas Fort Worth metro area that
Uh,
there's tons of clubs,
yeah.
right?
Dozens of clubs, certainly. Yep.
Right. And if one doesn't work for you, maybe there's another. But getting back to that point about Elmering, really, really important to have somebody that you can call on the phone or that they can come over and take a look. Everything that you know and that I know came from somebody else.
Yeah.
We either read it in a book, we saw it on YouTube, or came from our Elmer.
Yeah. Well, when I talk to folks about like an HF antenna that are new to the hobby, it can be pretty mind-boggling. So I'll go through the overview, the basics of the antenna, what to look for, how to set it up. But I always say, get with a local club. Someone there probably has already bought a Hustler antenna from us or whatever. They'll be happy to bring over their antenna analyzer and help you set it up and tune it.
Yeah. No, that is great advice. Um, Guy, I want to recognize the folks in the chat room. Chat room's really important, and of course our viewers. And we've got Dawn, Whiskey Juliet 3 United on with us. Always great to have Dawn on. Juan is on from Costa Rica. It's Tango India 5, Victor Mike Juliet, and we have Papa 43 Kilo on. Marvin is on from Aruba.
Wow.
And from Argentina, it's Lima Uniform 1, Fox India Victor. And Drew is on Kilo Delta 8, Charlie Mike November. And Tim mentions this is one of the best times for 6 meters. Yes,
Yeah.
during the summer months it is. And we've got Paul, November 6, Papa Sierra Echo. Hello, DXE friends. And Paul, great expeditioner. Jose, X-Ray Echo 2 Zulu Zulu from Mexico, and our friend John from here in Western Pennsylvania. Tim, thanks for your public service and service to DXE. That's from Kilo Bravo 3 Hotel. And from Southwest Michigan, it's November 8, Juliet, Victor Charlie, and our friend down in Texas, Steve, November Alpha 5 Charlie. What would you suggest as a quick handout to a prospective new interested ham? I don't want to overwhelm them. Do you have any suggestions, Guy?
You know, it's an interesting question. The ARRL has a number of books. In fact, I just referred a customer the other day, their book called Your First HF Station. So I think the ARRL books, while they have a lot of information, it would be important to go there because they're well written. They're, not highly technical. You don't get lost in the weeds. So that may be a little bit beyond a brochure to make sure they have enough information to reference.
Yeah, and I think there are some things that you can download in a PDF format and print out or make copies of
Hmm.
information like that from the ARRL website. And in fact, here in the last week, I've been accumulating the technician, general, and extra class license manuals for our club. We're going to donate those again to the local library so
Nice.
that people can go down there. They don't have to spend the money on the books. They can check them out. and take a look and see what the hobby's all about. Well,
Great.
Guy, it's been a great 4 years having you on the team. Here's to 45 more years. How about that?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's been, your team here that you guys have built over the years, absolutely awesome. So it's just outstanding to be a part of it.
Well, we're proud to have you as one of the members of this team. And there's a little meet the team down at the bottom of the website. You can see all the team members that are
Yeah.
here at DX Engineering. And thanks to all of you for watching today. I hope you had fun with Guy, K5TGS. Until next time, 73 from DX Engineering.
73.